What's going on, guys? My name is teftyteft. Welcome to another Let's Talk Gaming News. I wanted to dive deeper, just a skosh deeper into the Game Informer article. They specifically released information about the artifacts that you're going to be able to earn in Rise of Iron. Rise of Iron is bringing a game-changing element to Destiny. Taken King introduced artifacts and they merely affected stats mostly. You could maybe gain an orb or two or create an orb or two from getting like precision kills on enemies with a particular void kill or something like that. It was pretty non-existent for being useful aside from a stat boost and getting to tier 12 type of stuff. Rise of Iron is changing that dramatically, actually. There is officially 8 confirmed artifacts that you're going to be able to earn. I think one a week, I believe. So it's going to take 8 weeks total from what I recall in the article. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, if I'm wrong about that stuff, because it's definitely possible I'm wrong. They are going to affect your gameplay, and you're going to be able to use them on any class. I'm going to go through each one of them and talk about potential uses and how it could change the game and so on and so forth. But this is pretty incredible stuff here, guys. Some of it even negates the need for certain exotics. So you'll be able to equip these artifacts and then equip a different exotic that would have given you a type of benefit that you already get from that. So let's have a look at the very first one. Memory of Radagast. Described as the first among equals, Radagast was the Titan. Radagast the Titan was the King Arthur of the group and strayed into battle with a mighty sword in hand. His artifact adds a new ability for sword-heavy weapons, letting you reflect energy-based projectiles, including everything from an ogre's blast to a crucible opponent's rocket. That's kind of a big deal. So you equip Memory of Radagast, and then you make sure you have a sword. I'm sure it can be, legendary or exotic, doesn't matter. And in the crucible, somebody shoots a rocket at you, and you can deflect that rocket back at them. I'm telling you, there's going to be some triple kill Trials of Osiris clips of deflecting rockets back at people. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. I wonder what's going to happen with grenades and horseshoes. Because it seems like grenades and horseshoes would proc in a certain radius. So if it's coming at you and you're getting ready to block with the sword, or deflect with the sword, I imagine. I wonder if it would proc grenades and horseshoes. Or if at that circumference or whatever, or the area that it would properly affect grenades and horseshoes, it would actually reflect at that point. I don't know. It's an interesting thing that's going to bring about some very some awesome montages. There's going to be some sword deflection montages. It's also going to be interesting to be able to use that in the raid as well. Let's say there's some significant bombs being tossed your way, some mortars from enemies that we just... Or, for instance, those Siva bombs that you kill an enemy and they have the Siva energy coming at you. I'd imagine you'd be able to deflect that with a sword. So possibly deflect that stuff into bosses and do damage. It's really interesting thinking about that. What's going to be possible? Like, what if you could deflect the War Priest's mortar energy things that he shoots out back into him while you're in the relic to be able to do damage? It's going to be an interesting thing to use. Moving on to Memory of Perun. The field commander of the Iron Lords was a consummate strategist, and her situational awareness went beyond even fellow hunters. If you bear her artifact into battle, then enemy guardians with full supers are highlighted yellow, and all enemies with low health are highlighted red for easy targeting. This is huge for the Crucible. If you can equip this artifact and then suddenly easily tell when somebody has a super. I mean, that Titan chasing at you, he's not glowing yellow. He's not gonna fist a havoc you. It's all good. Or if he is glowing yellow and he's running at you from a considerable distance away, enough to get away, you automatically know that you can evade or use some sort of other tactic to kill that Titan before they get a smash on you. That is huge. And also team shooting in groups of randoms, like, blueberries. If you guys happen to be equipped with the Memory of Perun, then getting team shots off and getting those kills and finishing up is going to be considerably easier. Honestly, even if you're in a group, in a fire team, just having fun, If you equip Memory of Peyrun, those pickup kills, those team shots are going to be just considerably easier. Seriously. Moving on to Memory of Yolder, a particularly close companion of Saladin. Ooh. Yolder was a mighty Titan champion who ran bravely into battle without a thought of her own safety. Her artifact bears an ability that many players have longed for since the game's launch. The ability to completely eliminate sprint cooldown, allowing your guardian to ceaselessly charge ahead. Once again, it's a game changer. You can always sprint. No matter what, you stop sprinting, you can immediately start sprinting again. It changes things. It absolutely changes things. Changes the way that you think about your general neutral game when playing Destiny. Let's move on. Memory of Silumar. Silumar was proud, wrathful, and brilliant, and the artifact of the Iron Temple that sits atop Fellwinter Peak. He was a defense-oriented Titan, always looking for a way to offer better protection. As such, his artifact provides a unique ward, the ability to dramatically reduce any damage inflicted through damage over time effects. It should be a welcome deterrence, especially since the infamous Thorn hand cannon is returning in year 3. Confirmation of Thorn year 3. Oh my god. Memory of Silumar is going to negate Thorn. This is really fascinating. So Bungie is bringing Thorn back. They're thinking, if we bring Thorn back, we need to give people the option to negate the usefulness of Thorn. Memory of Silumar, obviously very useful. Also, if you're burning from a grenade, that damage over time is significantly reduced. So if you get hit by an incendiary or warlocks tossing those fire bolts, oh my god, the crispy fire bolts, Memory of Silumar is going to help reduce that effectiveness, and that's going to create some very interesting and potentially salt-filled experiences in the Crucible if you're having a very close Trials of Osiris match, and it comes down to somebody wearing Memory of Silumar to deter the damage over time to potentially win a 4-4 match, you know? Okay, moving on. Memory of Fellwinter, the great enigma of the Iron Lords. Fellwinter was an Iron Lord with good intentions, but sometimes questionable and unusual ways of interacting with the light. The Warlock discovered the mountaintop retreat that would become the Iron Lord's home. His artifact offers the most dramatic gameplay modifier: lose your super, but gain an extra grenade and melee charge, a boost to all of your stats, and orbs recharge your grenade and melee abilities. This is very dramatic. This completely changes how you would play Destiny, like just straight up. You also get 2 grenades and 2 melee charges, which right now requires 2 exotic armor pieces to even achieve that, which is obviously not possible. You can either have 2 grenades or 2 melee charges. You can't have both. So this legendary artifact, I'm assuming it's legendary, is going to give you both of those things at the loss of your super. And it's going to boost your stats as well. Keep in mind, this is for any class. You can be a Warlock, Hunter, Titan. Doesn't matter. You can equip this on any of them. So, interesting. I'm very concerned about balance right now. Balance in the Crucible, balance for regular PvP. PvE, obviously, it's whatever. It's all good if something gets exploited in PvE. I don't mind. I know some people mind, but for me, I could personally care less. I worry about things like in Trials of Osiris, things getting exploited or things just being overpowered. You know, if you go with a tier 12 build and have 5 discipline and 5 strength, actually, you could just go with a tier 10 build. It doesn't matter. You don't need any intellect whatsoever. You can max out those stats and have very fast recharges. Very, very fast. It's fascinating, guys. Memory of Gellion. The hunter named Gellion may have been a sullen pessimist. Let me start over. The hunter named Gellion may have been a sullen pessimist, but few doubted his assessment of the situation on the ground. No matter how dire, guardians that wield his artifact gain detailed radar at all times, and radar persists when aiming primary sights, primary weapons. Again, another dramatically game-changing artifact here. So, you get the enhanced radar, essentially, that hunters have that they can spec for. They can spec for that enhanced radar with Field Scout, or Keen Scout, sorry. And then you also get Third Eye perk on all your primary weapons. So if you're using Meta Multi-Tool, obviously you already have Third Eye, so that's going to negate that already. But you could have, say, Thorn and have Third Eye with Thorn and a better radar already. Any primary, any legendary, any exotic, you know, let's say, you know, Monte Carlo, the new Kvastov, like any of that stuff is going to have the ability to have your radar always up when you're aiming down sights and enhanced radar right there. These are extremely game-changing effects that are going to happen. And they're only going to be available to people who are dedicated to make sure they are willing to collect these artifacts when they become available. Because again, I believe, from what I understood, again, correct me if I'm wrong, that they're only going to be available once per week, or maybe we don't know, and it's going to take like 8 weeks to collect all of them, all the known ones. So that's huge. Memory Galleon. Memory of Scory. If Radagast echoes the legends of Arthur, then Scory is Merlin. Merlin. Oh, Mer. This legendary battle bard and warlock inspired her allies with songs and wisdom. Guardians who follow in her footsteps use her artifact to glow with an inspiring light that speeds up super recharge for all nearby allies. Once again, a potential game-changing artifact for raids, general PvE content, and definitely PvP content, depending on how much of a recharge boost there is. So this is like the Lucio of Destiny boosting super energy. So imagine if you're in a 6-man and somebody chooses to put on Memory of Scory and you're capping points and that person is always helping people get their super quicker. I mean, it could tip the tides. You know, more super energy in a 6-man, 6v6, is going to typically spell more changes in point captures and all that. So once again, it's another artifact that is going to dramatically change things that we know in Destiny. Options that could be like, man, how did they get their super so quick? Oh, maybe they're rocking Memory of Scory. Does it stack? Probably not. I think if it's stacked, it would probably be broken. It'd be overpowered if it's stacked. That being said, if it doesn't do that much super energy recharge, or if it doesn't give that much benefit, then it would be more on the worthless side. So it really depends on where this sits between Mega Boost versus, wow, I barely notice it. And if you barely notice it, maybe it does need a stack. So if it's like 3 people in a 6-man wear it, then you see a significant boost, then that's interesting. But there's other options, you know, being able to run infinite, being able to see people who have supers or low health. I mean, these are all definitely interesting stuff. And the final one, Memory of Timur. Memory of Timur. Creepy and misunderstood because of the lash, Timur's lash. Timur's warlock powers and demeanor almost recall those of a controlling necromancer. A necromancer. Guardians willing to flirt with Shadow can take up Timur's artifact and transform their melee attack, giving it a chance to turn low-power minions of darkness into allies. These enemy creatures fight at your side, turning their weapons on confused fellow aliens. Another melee a few seconds later puts them back into their right mind, or the effect expires after 30 seconds. So you can effectively turn, I'm assuming red bar enemies, not yellow bar. Turn red bar, let's say the knights. You could melee a knight, and then that knight is going to do work for you for 30 seconds. You can melee them again, and then they're either dead or they, help you. A lot of melees on red bar enemies kill them instantly. So this is either going to be very useful when you're low in the raid, because the raid, if you get overwhelmed in the raid and you start meleeing and you start turning enemies against each other, that's great. That's a great perk right there. Is there a cooldown to it? Also, can you only turn one enemy at a time? What about on your team? Can only one enemy potentially be turned, or can each person have an enemy turned, or is it unlimited? Those are all very fascinating things to think about. If this is also only PvE oriented, obviously this is not going to work in PvP. That would be impossible. So this is a purely PvE artifact that we're looking at here. with some interesting options. I think this is going to be cool initially, but then after a while, again, one melee hit is going to kill most enemies when you're playing a strike. So, most of them anyways, not all of them. It'd be interesting, though, turning like a Minotaur over and seeing them going to town on his buddies. Finally, there is a question mark right here. The survivors, the only 8 Iron Lords who fell when sealing away Siva, have their own named artifacts, but cannot play. But canny players know that 2 more heroes once stood at their side. Saladin is the most familiar. He has hosted the Iron Banner to hone the light of newer Guardians and prepare for them in the threat of the Siva's reemergence. But the sniper named Aphrodite's spear, final rounding goddamn spear, also may have survived. So Aphrodite might be alive, guys, as she has no statue in the mausoleum. Bungie won't be waiting long before exploring the mystery of her disappearance. So we have 8 confirmed artifacts. Is there going to be more with more abilities? Is Saladin going to be like, check out my dope ass artifact that gives you infinite primary ammo? You're never going to have to look for primary bricks. I'm speculating right now, by the way. Is Aphrodite's going to have an exotic artifact that in PvE encounters doubles all special ammo magazine sizes? Or maybe doubles your reserves of heavy ammo? You know? Just these 8 alone offer some severe changes to the game that obviously people are going to want to equip at least one of these, like permanently. You're not gonna unequip this and be like, well, I'm just gonna use my regular artifact from year 2 because why would I use one? Obviously, you're gonna equip one of these to either have radar or see people supercharged or have infinite sprint. These are going to become a mainstay. They are permanent de facto things that all of your Guardians are going to be equipped with. So the question is then, is there going to be some secret ones? Is there going to be some exotic ones where you can only equip that exotic artifact and you can't have any exotic armor also? And I'm assuming that these are legendary, so you can equip exotic armor in addition. Yeah, if you guys know different information and I'm assuming that incorrectly, definitely let me know in the comments. But yeah, I mean, is Aphrodite going to have an artifact that you can collect? Is it going to do some crazy stuff? Is Saladin going to award you with an artifact? Is anybody in their right mind not going to wear one of these once they have them? And also, what does that do to people coming into the game for the first time who don't have an artifact equipped? I mean, they're not game breaking, but they're significant. They're enough to be like, damn. I mean, negate damage over time. Double melee, double grenade. That's double wombo, There's a lot of options here, guys. A lot of options. Anyways, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/teft. Catch the streams I do. Twitch.tv/teftyteft. I do play Destiny and a variety of games on there. I also play on Planet Destiny as well. Twitch.tv/planet_Destiny. And I'm looking forward to all this stuff, guys. I'm very, very much excited for Rise of Iron. All this information that dropped out of Game Informer is huge. And again, I've been looking at this on the Game Informer issue. You should definitely check that out if you want to read up on there. It's a massive article with tons of information, and they have some videos at the end that are very detailed. They show you some gameplay of the new Supremacy and just a lot of stuff. They show a little bit of the Plague Lands. It's almost a spoiler, honestly. I'm like, whoa, I'm seeing stuff that I kind of want to save. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Slap the like button if you dug the video. Sub to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys next time. Deuces.